Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and today we're working on a 2014 Silverado. It's got the 5.3 and a 6L80 transmission. We're going to be doing a transmission filter and drain, and we're going to be putting new fluid back in it because the fluid in this is pretty dirty. So if you want to, stick around and chum on. So it's a cold day today and the wind's blowing pretty good, so if there's a lot of background noise, sorry about that. But we're going to be doing a transmission fluid drain and a filter change, and we're going to climb underneath here in just a second. We do have it on some ramps right now because it will not fit in the garage with the lift, which would make it a whole lot easier, but we're going to do this on the ground and show that anybody can do this. So this does have the 6L80, and it should have 18 bolts on the pan. And it recommends that you drop the exhaust cross member on this. So we're going to climb underneath here and get started. You can see this crossover pipe for the exhaust does run right underneath the pan, but you should have enough room to get it out without actually having to take this off on this one, because you have probably, I don't know, about 2 inches up here before it actually hits the exhaust. So that should be plenty enough room, and the filter should be right here anyway, and that's going to be the hardest part to clear. So if you can just tilt it down in the front and leave a bolt in the back and let it drain out the front, and then just make sure you have a pan underneath there. But all these bolts are 10 millimeters, and I'm going to break them loose with the ratchet first just to make it easier on the electric impact driver. I'm not going to show me like taking every little bolt out. So what I'm going to do is just break a few of them loose and zip a couple of them out, and then whenever I get ready to drop the pan, I'll show you how I do that. But I'm going to go ahead and break some of them loose real quick. As you can see, I got all the bolts out except for these back two, and the pan has dropped a little bit. So what we're going to do is slowly take these back two bolts out, and we're going to slowly lower the transmission pan down, but we're going to let some of it drain out first into the drain pan. I'll hold up on it, and as you can see, it is dripping some. Let that one drop. And it's caught on this. I'm gonna let that drain for a second. I'll go get a rag. Okay, so I got the pan out without dropping the exhaust. There's actually a way to do it. So if you get the pan and twist it to the passenger side and then pull down a little bit and keep pulling to the back towards the driver's side, you can actually clear this right here, the exhaust. And what it hangs up on a little bit is the actual filter, and you can get it around the filter once you twist the rear around, and it'll come over top of the driver's side exhaust, and you can pull it straight down. Just I would say try to get a larger pan, because this pan is fairly decent size. So if you had like one of the big rectangular toppers for your oil pan, I would use that, or put something underneath it, or even 2 oil pans, because like I said, it did spill out the front and I got a little bit on the ground, but that should be fine. But next, what we're going to do is pull the filter off. All you have to do is pull straight down and pull this back some, because once you take this off, fluid will come out. Well, normally it comes out. I'm just going to sit that right there for a minute. And up inside of there, there is a little metal with a rubber on it, O-ring or gasket, I guess you could call it, that goes up inside of where the pump is, and that holds the actual filter into it. If you hold on one second, I'll show you what it looks like. You can see it right there. So you need to try to get that out and replace it as well. The best way to do this is to get like a small screwdriver and collapse the side, and then use a pair of needle nose or something like that to pull it out with. But I'm going to remove that, and when you reinstall it, actually use a socket about the same diameter, and you can just tap it up in there until you feel it bottom out. But don't hit it too hard so you don't collapse it. But I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, and we're going to get the pan cleaned up. And the gasket on these also are reusable. Just check it, make sure nothing is tore on it or any of that, and if it is, go ahead and replace it. But I'm going to go ahead and clean up everything and put the new O-ring in there, and then whenever I get ready to put the filter on, I'll show that to you. I figured I'd go ahead and show you what the gasket looked like. Here's the gasket. It does have these little tabs that locate where it goes. Also, this one right here is actually in pretty good shape, so I want to reuse it. There's no broken rubber pieces and no tears in it or any of that stuff, so we're going to reuse this. Okay, and here's the oil pan on it. As you can see, there's a lot of metal in here. He did just buy this truck not long ago, and it's got 165,000 miles on it. And these 6L80s, they do have 2 SBs for the torque converter shutter and stuff like that. But through his bank, he did get a warranty on it, and they told him, you know, just drive it until it tears up, and then they'll replace the transmission for him, which is a good thing. But we're gonna go ahead and see if this helps it out, because his does have a little bit of a shudder at 30 miles an hour, and then a little bit at around 50. But we're gonna see if this will help him. We're gonna be putting Dextron 6 back in it, and we got a filter. But let me clean this up, and then when I get it cleaned, I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, here's the pan after I got it cleaned up. I got as much metal off of the magnet as I could. There's still a little bit on there, but cleaned it with brake cleaner pretty good, but all of it wouldn't come off. But the inside looks much better, and I got the gasket just sitting on there so I know which way it goes. And like I said, it does have these tabs that locate it, so we're going to climb back underneath there and get it started back on there. But I'm going to show you how I put the filter on first. So here's the filter right here. I'm just going to get it, put it up inside of where the new gasket is, and you'll feel it bottom out. Just don't push too hard, or you will push it up into the pump, and that could cause damages down the road. But now that that's in, we'll just slide the pan back in, and we'll get her all buttoned up and put some fluid in her. The hardest part is getting the gasket situated right on the, if you reuse it, because it doesn't want to sit just right whenever you're trying to put the pan on. I'm going to throw a couple little bolts in here to hold it in place. If my arm's in the way, sorry about that. Now that we got a couple bolts, we can go ahead and just go around and start these. I'm not going to show me starting every one of these. Alright, I got it all buttoned up down here. I just ran these bolts in with my impact driver, and then I went around them with a regular ratchet and just put about another quarter turn on there, just enough to tighten it down. You don't want to tighten it down so much that you can actually feel the bolts starting to stretch, because you don't need much torque. I think the torque on these is like, I think like 40 or 50 something inch-pounds, so it's not a lot. Just go around them and snug them down all the way around the pan evenly, and then after that you can go up top, and we're going to put fluid in it. All right, now we're going to put fluid in it, and for a drain and refill on this, just for a filter, it calls for 6 quarts. And also I wanted to show you the kit that I use for the filter. This is it right here. I got it from O'Reilly's. They're not a sponsor or anything, but this is the one that I use. It was actually the only place that had it in stock at the time. And that's the part number right there, FK-381. And it is a Power Torque. That kit did not come with a gasket. It did come with the little rubber seal that goes into the transmission and the filter only, because it does say that it is a reusable gasket. But if you want a gasket with the kit, you can purchase it. It is about $15 or $20 more in my area. But now we're going to put some fluid in it. I'm going to put 6 quarts in it, and then we're going to let it warm up, and I'll check the fluid. I do recommend using AC Delco fluid, as it is probably, in my opinion, the best to go back with what the manufacturer recommends. Alright, so we got the truck running, and you can tell from the fans that the truck is up to temperature. What we're going to do, we're going to check the fluid real quick just to make sure that everything is good, and if we need to add some more, we will. I'm going to set you down real quick. We're just a hair below the top full mark, and it's probably not even an eighth of an inch below it, so we should be good on that. And after he drives it for a while, we'll get him to come back and let me check it again just to make sure that it is still full. It's always a good thing to drive it for probably 100 or 200 miles and then check it again just to make sure that it's full, because it'll give it time to actually go through all the valve body and everything, just in case it was low. And when we had the pan off, it was sitting there dripping, so some of it could have come out of it as it was dripping. But that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you got any comments or concerns, please leave them in the section down below, and I'll get to them as fast as I can. And y'all have a great day.